said, definitely do coffee, definitely do orange juice, and I'm always filled up. I usually don't need anything until a late lunch, and there are lots of wonderful breakfasts, but that's my top choice.
Well, I love it. All right, Grant, you're making me hungry. Thanks for being on. We'll talk to you again.
Always a privilege. You take care, Marty.
That's Grant Power, President, CEO of Nations.
Seam heads. Our Giants game day coverage begins now.
It's the mosaic.
So before gloves start popping,
diving, he makes the catch,
and bats start cracking,
it is gone.
We bring you the voice of Bay Area baseball for the past 29 years.
As I always say, baseball reflects what life is all about.
This is Talkin' Baseball with Marty Lurie.
That's what we do. We talk ball.
On KNBR, the sports leader.
And good morning, everybody. Great to have you with us on this Sunday morning as we get ready for baseball. And this month of September is going to be wild. I guarantee it. And we saw it last night with the Giants and the Cardinals. And this is a Cardinal team that is beat up. They've got a lot of people injured. That Burleson is out, Donovan is out, Arenado is out, Contreras is out, and they have a very young team. And the Giants had a nice lead last night, 2-0 going into the ninth inning. And the way baseball works, you never know what's going to happen. And it happened to the Giants last night as Ryan Walker came in that ninth inning. As he's done numerous times this year. Now he's blown 6 saves, which is a lot, but he gave up hits to people who hadn't been getting hits. And Nolan Gorman had struck out 3 times. Wynn had struck out once, and he got a base hit. And then he did the unspeakable. He hit Crooks, who's up in his first week in the major leagues, to load the bases. Then a little slap hit by Sagassi, who had gotten out all game long. And then Jordan Walker, it shows you the baseball gods, 0 for 25. And the big I saw him in the fall league. I thought he was fabulous. Well, in the major leagues, all he hits are ground balls. And Jordan Walker, a big right fielder, hit a ground ball past Chapman for a double, 2 runs scored, and the Giants end up losing the game 3-2. So that's the way it went last night. It was one of those games. The Giants snapped that 5-game winning streak. The last 13 games are 11-2. They don't get to tie the 1947 Giants with the great Johnny Mize and Lucky Lorky that homered 19 games in a row. That ends at 18 for them last night. And they lose the game 3-2 to the Cardinals. So they come back today with K-Wing Tang. He's 26 years old, and he goes against Sonny Gray, who's 35 years old. Sonny Gray, 12-8, 443 earned run average. His whip is 120. For Tang, this is only his 10th major league game and 5th major league start. And his last one was okay against Colorado. 5 1/3 for him, 9 hits and a couple of runs. He does give up a lot of hits, 23 hits in 18 innings. But only 1 homer, and with runners in scoring position, 6 for 26, which isn't terrible, but runners in scoring position, 2 out. He's 0 for 7, which is really good. That second time through was when they get him. First time through, 205. Second time through, 387. Third time through, he's usually not around, only 3 for 6 against him. But he's been a good pitcher. Came over in that Sam Dyson trade from Minnesota years ago. And he's done a good job in this long relief and these spot starts for the Giants. They need him. Last night, Verlander was terrific. He is really, when you look at it, frankly, he's probably their best pitcher right now. Probably steadier than Ray and somewhat steadier than Webb. Webb is fabulous, and I still love Webb in Cy Young contention, although Skeens pitched a really, really good game the other night. Maybe locking down that Cy Young award for him. But Verlander last night, 6 innings, 3 hits, no runs, ended up with a bunch of strikeouts, passed Gaylord Perry for 8th on the all-time list. Next up is Don Sutton, which maybe has a shot at getting near Don Sutton this year. We'll see how that works out. But a nice game for Verlander last night. And look, the Giants just don't score for him. And, the numbers are out this morning of how many runs they've scored for him in certain games and this and that. And they generally get 2 or 3 runs for him, if anything. And he's got to hold that lead. But Verlander has shown me something, and that is that he is a pitcher. He's a Hall of Fame pitcher. And he really, really works his craft to get the hitters out. And I'm very impressed with him. And he's been terrific. And he's going to be very important down the stretch here for the Giants. But the bullpen caved in last night. But that is the story of baseball, and especially in the National League. And we're going to talk about it this morning. Look at the Dodgers last night. If you didn't watch Quick Pitch last night, or, the local news or ESPN or wherever you can see some video, MLB has it as well. The Yamamoto went 8 2/3 no hit last night. 8 2/3 no hit. Jackson Holliday, the kid, we saw him. Look, the Orioles were miserable against the Giants. And meanwhile, they've had a great week against San Diego and against the Dodgers here. Jackson Holliday gets, now they're down at this point, 3-0. He's got a no-hitter, 8 2/3. And Jackson Holliday gets a pitch that's up and sort of over the plate, and he hits it out into right field, and there goes the no-hitter. They take out Yamamoto. They bring in Trinan. He's walking the park. He's giving up hits. All of a sudden, it's a 3-2 game. The Dodgers are winning. They bring in Tanner Scott. He gives up a base hit with the bases loaded, and the Dodgers lose the game to the Orioles. They had a no-hitter for 8 2/3 and end up losing the game to the Orioles 4-3. How about that? And Kershaw goes today for the Dodgers against the Orioles. So that was a crazy game last night. So all this is going on in baseball. But we're going to talk about it today with the Mets in Cincinnati. San Diego hangs on with their great bullpen. They hang on to beat Colorado 10-8. And they've got a tough game today, San Diego against Tanner Gordon. He's the one guy in the Rockies who wins games, and he wins games like a normal pitcher, not 10-8. He'll go 6 innings and give up a couple of runs. So that's what San Diego's got today with Dylan Cease on the mounds. And they've got bullpen trouble, too. They've got injuries in that bullpen. Estrada got hurt. Adam is out for probably the year with a strange quad injury. And this is what baseball is turning into. This month is going to be wild going down the stretch, and the playoffs, forget it. Because starting pitchers don't go very far. They don't go 9. And it's a bullpen game every single night. And if all these bullpens are beleaguered, they don't have closers. The Dodgers are searching for a closer. They don't even know who to make the closer. And the Giants are close to being in that situation, too. They really are. Bob Melvin's got some serious managing to do over these next 20 games. But as play starts today, the Giants are 4 back of the Mets. The Mets lose yesterday. The Mets have 3 kids in the rotation who have a combined 4 Major League starts. And those are the 3 kids that are going to go down the stretch with the Mets. And where do you see their schedule? So the Mets are still very, very vulnerable. The Giants lose a tough game, but believe me, they're still very, very much in this thing. And I think they're going to be in the playoffs. I really do. But the Mets last night lose to Cincinnati. Cincinnati blows the lead all week long with their bullpen. So that's the theme of this thing. Bullpens are needed, and just about every contender's got trouble, and they all have tough schedules coming up. This month of September is going to be something. All right, great to have you with us today. It's the Giants and the Cardinals wrapping up this 3-game series. We'll see the Cardinals and Rockies the last week. How about that? Is that a gift? The Rockies and Cardinals the last week of the season at home for the Giants, so get ready for that. But there's a tough road before we get to that last week, believe me. It is Tang and Gray today, and of course we have our contest going for dinner for 2 at Original Joe's, Westlake in North Beach, West Portal, or in Walnut Creek. And Raf picks out a winner for dinner for two at Soto Mare with Rich and Laura Azolino, 552 Green Street in San Francisco. Fabulous. I had such a good time there when I was up the last time. So it's on Twitter at Baseball Marty. Just guess the score of today's game, and we have a lot of fun with that. So good day of baseball, good day of sports. The 49ers are playing today. And the Giants are very, very much in this thing, so do not get discouraged. But they do have to figure out who's going to be the closer on this team, and they better figure it out fast because these games do not stop now in September. All right, Mark Simon, Sports Info Solutions, coming up next right here on the Sports Leader.
With Marty Lurie on KNBR 104.5 and 680, the Sports Leader.
Hey fans, Gene Bagato checked in from Bodega Bay, and he told me that with the coming arrival of fall, they're expecting some of the best weather of the year up on the Sonoma coast. And what better way to enjoy such a fabulous climate than a trip to the Tides Wharf? At the restaurant, a varied menu awaits guests, offering such classics as New England clam chowder and house smoked salmon and fried calamari to fresh seafood salads. I love it. Pastas and grilled fish. If the beach is your destination, the fish market offers whatever food and beverages one needs for a picnic. While across the Great Hall, the gift shop has not only stylish beachwear, but the perfect souvenirs to take home. Now, if you're looking for an extended stay, just across Highway 1, the Inn at the Tides with its large, comfortable rooms and heated pool is waiting for you. Wow. So if you're looking for the perfect fall getaway not far from the Bay Area, look no further than the Tides Wharf and the Inn at the Tides in scenic Bodega Bay.
Don't let pneumococcal pneumonia break your stride. If you're 50 or older, you're at increased risk. So be proactive with Capvaxive pneumococcal 21-valent conjugate vaccine to help protect against invasive pneumococcal disease and pneumonia caused by certain types of pneumococcal bacteria. Capvaxive helps protect against the strains of bacteria that cause about 30% more IPD cases than any other pneumococcal conjugate vaccine in adults over 50, according to national-level CDC stats. Regional variations may exist. Don't get Capvaxive if you're allergic to the vaccine or its ingredients. Tell your doctor if you have a weakened immune system. Common side effects include injection site reactions, feeling tired, headache, muscle aches, and fever. Capvaxive does not protect against all strains. For more information, call 1-800-927-8888 or visit capvaxive.com. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Capvaxive. Need help paying for your Merck vaccine? Visit merckhelps.com. Sponsored by Merck.
There's a shimmer in the air, and it's coming from Shreve & Company. Diamond stud earrings, tiny stars you can wear. They don't just catch the light, they whisper stories. For the woman who lights up your world, give her something that mirrors her brilliance. From little black dresses to blue jeans and bare feet, diamond studs always say the right thing. In Stanford Shopping Center, Palo Alto, Shreve & Company, extraordinary jewelry and timepieces.
Fans, I'm coming up to the Bay Area to see some Giants baseball. It also means I'm going to see Sonny from A&H Transportation. A&H Transportation, the East Bay's finest, serving the Bay Area since 2007. If you need to be picked up at the airport, it's 24/7. Taken to the airport, San Francisco, Oakland, San Jose. Whether it's wine tours, concerts, game events, medical appointments, Sonny and A&H Transportation will take care of you just as family would. Give them a call, 925-200-2824. You can check them out on the web, ah4limo.com. Email them, ah4limo at ah4limo.net. Sonny, I'll see you soon.
Mark Simon. Mark, I love you, man.
Oh, no! All right, we love him. It is Mark Simon from Sports Info Solutions. Mark, great to have you with us this morning. How are you?
Marty, movie star. How are you doing?
Very good. The movie was a big hit, and got to thank everyone for their support and for Bob Costas for his support, and we'll see where it goes. We'll see where it goes, but I appreciate you saying that. Thank you. But let's get to baseball. Boy, this is some, what can I say? I mean, the bullpens all over baseball are crumbling, and last night it happened to the Giants.
It did. I hate to say it, but like if you remember, flashback to a week ago when I said that if I was the Mets, that I really couldn't take it seriously until the Giants were 3 games back, and the Giants were about to be 3 games back. It was right there. It was there to be taken, and they didn't take it. And Ryan Walker had one of his games, which he's had a couple of this year. The one that I'm thinking of that comes to mind is the Angels game that he blew late. And he didn't give up anything like super crushing, but the balls were hit to bad spots. Matt Chapman couldn't make a catch on a ball, and that be that. And you can't, when you're chasing, you can't lose games like that. At this time of year, 20 games left, like that was a game that was there to be won, and now you have to make up for it in some way. And I just that was a real crushing loss yesterday, I thought, for the Giants.
Well, it was. Anytime you're going down the stretch, you don't want to lose a game like that, especially late, to a team that is really banged up. And this is a young team, and Jordan Walker, all he hits are ground balls. I don't know how Chapman didn't get that when he was 0 for 25. But I will say this, when you look at what's going on with the Mets and their schedule and the fact that they're throwing 3 pitchers in the rotation who have a combined like 4 starts, 6 starts in the major leagues. You look at San Diego's schedule, the Dodgers' schedule. Mark, this thing is, in my opinion, far from over.
It is, but it is. I'll leave it at that. I just feel like they should have gotten that one last night. Mathematics are not necessarily with you. The playoff probability is still 5%. And quite frankly, that's because the Mets are a better team than the Giants, and the Padres are a better team than the Giants. And I believe that wholeheartedly. Maybe you don't, but I do. And I just think that it's really tough to make up 4 or 5 games against a team that's better than you in a short amount of time. You can do it, but to me, it's like a unlikely kind of scenario.
I can't wait for next weekend. I really can't till we talk. Till we talk next weekend. I really can't. The Mets have 4 with the Phillies. The Mets have 4 with the Phillies and 3 with Texas. San Diego has got Colorado for some more, and then they end up with the Mets coming in. I don't know. It's wild. It really is wild. All right, let's talk about today. I'm looking at Sonny Gray, and he's 35 years old. I felt he was like 22. But he's been with the A's, the Yankees, Cincinnati, Minnesota, St. Louis. He's made 327 major league starts. But the thing that gets me about him, people hit home runs off this guy. Why? Yeah,
crazy. His 4-seam right now is a highly ineffective pitch. Batters are hitting, I want to say it's in the 300s with a slug that's probably in the 500s. In particular, recently, he's largely he's like a 6-pitch pitcher who has like 1 pitch that is really, really good, and then the rest are less good. He has the most strikeouts with the sweeper in the sport, so I think the Giants are going to expect to see a lot of sweepers today. They're going to give him 2 because Teng threw a whole bunch, like 50% in his last start. So yeah, and he's given up a lot of home runs, as you said. There was a stretch earlier this season where, like, over a 10-12 start run, Sonny Gray was as good as any pitcher in baseball. And then since then, he just doesn't have it. And he doesn't have the magic of the years in the past when he was highly effective. But he's a veteran pitcher who could certainly shut the Giants down if he has a really good sweeper today.
Yeah, righty's 288 with 15 of the 23 homers.
Yeah,
so that's the sweeper. So if it's not sweeping, the 288 makes sense for the right-handed hitters. Lefty's 241. First pitch 394. That's one, I like that one. So that one got me. But I'll tell you the one that got me. The number of players on the Giants who have hit home runs against Sonny Gray. And I do this every Sunday, Saturday and Sunday I used to. But every Sunday I do, who hits against the pitcher. Adames, Bailey, Chapman, Devers, Flores, Smith, They all have homers against this guy. How about that? That's the first time I've seen that, I think, ever.
Yeah, well, I think part of that is he's been around and he's faced a lot of teams at this point in his career. He's American League and National League of what, I guess, somewhat equal amount. So yeah, he's faced, I'm counting it right now, he has faced 980 major league hitters. So I guess not too surprised.
Wow, amazing. So he can give up the home run. We'll see what happens today. Yeah. Tang, I thought, pitched a decent game against Colorado's last time. His numbers stink. You know, a lot of hits, walks, everything else. He hasn't given up a home run other than one. And he's pretty good with runs in scoring position. But I thought he pitched pretty well against Colorado.
Yeah, I think in Coors Field, that was kind of the best that you could expect. 5 1/3, 2 runs, 8 strikeouts, no walks. I think he would sign up for that every time from him. He had a good start against the Nats in August, but I think you're just hoping for 4 or 5, and then you toss it over to the bullpen. And Boutel was good yesterday. Lucchesi might not be available today, but Lucchesi was good yesterday. So you hope for the best from your bullpen today because you're probably going to need them.
Yeah, probably Beck and Brubaker. I would think we'll see them at some point in the game today. How do you like Devers, though? What he's done this week, Raph and I will do a home run of the week, and we got a lot to pick out here. But, the guy, he swings and misses. He'll ground out to short. But if he lifts the ball, goodbye. I'll see you later.
Yeah, he's an 100-mile-an-hour hitter just about any time he makes contact, which is really impressive. He's in one of these locked-in modes. I was looking at it on entering Saturday's game, and curveballs, splitters. It really doesn't matter. He's not. He's not. I think that it was something like the strikeouts compared to the hits was really impressive. This is what they signed up for when they got him. I mean, ideally you wish that it would have been there for the whole time, but you'll certainly take it now because it's a sign. I don't know that it's a sign that he's healthy, but it's a sign that he can still produce at the level that he produced in 2023 and 2021 and 2019 and all these years when he was a great hitter.
Well, it's going to be quite a week of baseball. How do you see this week? First of all, before I let you go, Yamamoto, 8 2/3, gives up the home run. The bullpen falls apart. If you watch the Dodger postgame show last night, you thought it was a funeral. They have no closer. They said it out loud. They have no closer. How'd you like that game last night?
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. That's things fell apart pretty quickly. And they've had problems with their bullpen, as you said, the whole season. I really think that in the postseason, that meaningful ninth innings are going to be pitched by Ohtani. I think they'll figure it out at the beginning of the game, but they'll put him at the end of the game, and he's the guy that will try and bring it to a win. I think, based on what we saw in the very smallest sample, one inning in the World Baseball Classic, he certainly has the capability to blow you away for an inning. But their thing too is they're not Teoscar Hernandez isn't hitting, and that hurts them because they have Betts and they have Freeman and they have Will Smith, but they need the Mets have this Fab Four. The Dodgers don't have the Fab Four as strongly these days. But yes, in answer to your question, that was really crazy. 3-0 with 2 outs in the ninth and a no hitter, and you lose. That's like a win probability of .0001.
Yes, that's why Sarah Lang's her little thing that she does on the comebacks went off the page last night. That was that.
As it should.
All right, a pleasure having you on. This is going to be a good week, and take a look at everybody's schedule. You and I are going to have quite a conversation next Sunday, I'm sure. Thanks, Mark.
Yeah, Diamondbacks will be challenging. Talk to you later, Marty.
Okay. All right. Take care. All right. That is Mark Simon. He's right. Diamondbacks are playing some decent baseball right now, and they've won 4 in a row, 8 of 10, and they come in starting tomorrow at Oracle. All right. Boy, what a time for baseball. I'm telling you, this is good. Bruce Jenkins next, right here in the Sports Leader.
Talking baseball with Marty Lurie on KNBR 104.5 and 680, the Sports Leader.
Everyone likes a party, but everyone loves a party at Original Joe's. With 3 private dining rooms, it's the perfect spot to hold your next big event. From christenings to corporate gatherings, we'll make your next party San Francisco special. Original Joe's, see you at the counter.
It's fall at River Islands and Lathrop, and the schools are back in session. There are 3 top-rated K through 8th grade academies within the community, and construction just started on Academy number 4. How about that? River Islands High School students are busy in the classroom and on the sports fields of their amazing new campus. Elsewhere in Northern California's most successful lifestyle community, they're putting the final touches on another park. This one with a playground, workout areas, tennis, a splash pad, and a picnic area. The fall weather is still perfect for launching a kayak or a paddleboard. Well, and I love that. Off your own deck and heading over to the Boathouse restaurant for lunch or dinner. More than 4,000 households have already made the move to River Islands. Today, with 15 neighborhoods priced from $600,000 to over $1 million, there's more variety in home styles and sizes than ever before. In fact, the only thing missing at River Islands is you. Start your tour at riverislands.com. Isn't it time for you to discover the islands? It sure was for me.
Look through the window of the original Joe's on North Beach and you'll see two guys at the counter talking ball. Time for you to listen in to their conversation. Marty Lurie and the SF Chronicles' Bruce Jenkins are looking through the window of baseball. Sponsored by Original Joe's of North Beach and Westlake on KNBR 104.5 and 680, the sports leader.
All right, great to have you back with us as Giants-Cardinals meet in Game 3 of this series. They're going to see each other the last week of the season. Will it be a gift for the Giants or not? We'll see how they do against the Cardinals today. Bruce Jenkins, good morning. How are you?
Good, Marty. How you doing?
Well, it's a crazy week of baseball and fights, but last night maybe took the cake all over baseball with what happened to Yamamoto and what happened to Ryan Walker. And it just shows the way baseball was played in September.
Yeah, the Giants, it was so discouraging because the Cardinals, the whole scene there is completely dead. The fans have clearly given up. And that's a great fan base, but the team, they haven't made any big moves in several months. They've been playing terrible baseball. Now they're going down to the Giants, and all of a sudden Walker comes in, hit by pitch, hit, ball game over. Didn't even get an out. Just shocking. So now, they do close out against the Cardinals, which seems pretty appealing, especially here. That should work out well. It's not a good team. The Cardinal fans know that, but any big league team is capable, which we saw, and then we saw in Baltimore. I mean, Dave Roberts, he blew it so badly, Marty. I was yelling at the TV when he took out Yamamoto. So he's got a no-hitter going. He's got phenomenal stuff still in the ninth inning. Okay, he gives up a homer to Jackson Holiday. He's 1 out away. They got a 3-1 lead. Let him get the out. Complete game. Walk off the field. All good. Don't turn it over to the bullpen. But he did, and they lost. Very good. Just an unbelievably bad move. But the Dodgers, it's so funny. They've got this great rotation, but they've lost, I don't know, an awful lot of games. They lost 7 out of 8 and 5 in a row. And this was in the wake of a Basayo walk-off the night before in Baltimore. So, as you say, crazy is a pretty good word for it.
Well, and there's still a lot of baseball left to be played, and everybody needs a bullpen. And every bullpen of every contender is in trouble right now. And if that's the case, every game in October is going to be wild because starters don't go 9. And everyone's going to need a bullpen. And let's talk about the Giants for a second. I mean, Ryan Walker is the only traditional closer that they've got, and he's struggling this year. He really is. What does Bob Melvin do here? How does he handle this now?
Well, it's really tough because Duvall and Rogers got traded away, and Rodriguez got hurt. That was a big blow. So all of a sudden, yeah, they're really strapped. It hasn't mattered too much lately because they're scoring so many runs, but that's not going to last. I think they're still going to play good ball, but they're going to need the bullpen, and it's going to be tough. I mean, Walker, he was so off on his command. He hit the guy. I mean, the guy couldn't help getting hit. It was an unbelievably bad pitch. He just had no command whatsoever from the beginning out there. So I don't know. The answer is I'm not sure how you do it. The trading deadline's over. All kinds of relievers got exchanged, but they gave away 2. Well, they didn't give them away. I mean, without one deal, we don't have Drew Gilbert. So down the line, those deals could work out. But right now, they're short in the bullpen. They're going to need, I think Pagero could be a key. He's come out throwing 101 at times. Could him over. I don't think Walker's a hopeless case, but geez, that was really discouraging.
Yeah, I think Buto could be a possibility too. At least he's got some major league chops to him, as opposed to Pagero, who's obviously his first few games in the big league. So, but Bob Melvin's got his hands full in trying to figure this thing out. But they are hitting, and we had an incident. We haven't seen a good baseball fight in a long time. This one actually got out of hand a little bit. And Devers hits the home run, and Kyle Freeland gets upset and says some things to him because Devers went out of the box too slowly. And by the way, Kyle Freeland pitched a fabulous game in his next game against the Padres. But they get into it. Everybody comes out. Chapman pushes somebody. And before you know it, it's a baseball rhubarb.
Well, what Devers did was basically nothing. I mean, in today's game, to stand there and watch your home run and leave the yard and not look at the pitcher and just take your base, that's completely ordinary stuff now. And for Freeland, in the very first inning, it turned into a hothead for no reason, totally triggering that thing. I mean, it was just stupidity. He's out of the game in the first inning. Yeah, the manager was a little ticked off. I'm sure his teammates were too. This is not the way the game is just played now. It's the Bumgarner stare down days are over unless somebody really challenges you, like, look what I just did against you, chump. Then that's one thing. But none of the Giants should have been tossed. Nobody threw a punch. Chapman shoved him because he just he wanted to make a point, and Adames looked like he was going to throw a punch, but he never really did. I think it was discouraging that they were both tossed, especially those two guys. But I love that Chapman appeals and gets another game out of it and has a huge game the next night, which they really needed. But that was a good thing for the team. Everybody had Devers back. Nobody got hurt, and those things usually work out well.
Yeah, interesting week with incidents in the stands. How about the one at the tennis match where the guy took the hat away from a kid? What's happening? How about that one?
Yeah, it's so blatantly shown on video too. They wound up. He's a big shot executive from Poland, and now his company is in trouble because of. He apologized and everything. No. It's so clear what you did. Unbelievably rude. And and there was another one in Philadelphia. I think a ball went here, and somebody went over there. Hey, wait a minute! That's my ball, and take it away from a kid. And anytime it gets taken away from a kid, you're treading rough ground.
Yeah, and look at Framber Valdez. He got upset at giving up a grand slam, and he crossed the catcher up because he was upset at the catcher and hit the guy in the chest. How about that?
That was very weird. I mean, Valdez has denied any of that, like confrontational, getting back at the guy. But it's hard to reconcile what he did. It was so strange. I can't recall seeing anything quite like that. And then everybody's saying, is this team falling apart emotionally? Then they hammer out a huge win yesterday. It was 11-0 or something. So it's just the great thing about it, Marty, is that you can't draw any conclusions. You can't say the Dodgers are done. You can't say the Giants bullpen is dead or any of these things, no. Even though it really looks that way. But, things can turn around so fast.
Well, it's a game of bullpens. And if you look at the Met bullpen, you look at the Padre bullpen with the injuries they've got, the Dodger bullpen, it was funeral-like after the game there. They have no closer. And Ohtani isn't the answer for me. You can't throw him every day.
No.
And, the Giant bullpen is a work in progress now. The Phillies actually may have the best bullpen, and the Cubs, who's their closer right now? And the Brewers lost McGill and Mears. They're throwing Ashby every day. Bruce, I'm telling you, this September, this thing is not over yet. It's not over because of that.
Oh, God, it's not over for just the standings. That alone tells you it's not over. It's still, the Giants are 4 games back of the Mets, who took another bad loss yesterday. The kid Tong gave up 3 homers, and they've got 3 guys you never heard of in the rotation. The rotation veteran guys got so bad, but the Giants don't play San Diego. They don't play the Mets either, which is too bad because they try to catch those 2 teams, and they both have a tiebreaker edge over the Giants, but. I think the Padres could have a good bullpen. Mason Miller cannot be touched, and if you get Suarez behind him, their bullpen could stand out. But you're right, everybody's looking a little bit shaky.
Plus, the Padres don't hit it all. Well, what a time. Well, there's a good historical note for today, and I'm glad that we could talk about it because the Yankees were, 4 back of the Red Sox, and they went into Boston. They had the Boston Massacre, And it led to the Bucky Dent game, which won the pennant in '78. And this was a September series, so I like it. I like it.
Yeah, I think people don't really talk about that. Obviously, the Bucky Dent game will be remembered forever, right down to the last detail. But like you say, there were 4 games out on this day. They come in and they win 15-3, and then 13-2, and 7-0. I mean, it was
wow.
The 4 game was 42-9. You know, in the 15-3. And they had 9 different guys drive in runs. I mean, you want to talk about a lineup, Marty. I know it's a long way back, but people our age and a little younger will remember. The Yankees lineup was Mickey Rivers, Willie Randolph, Thurman Munson, Reggie Jackson, Chris Chambliss, Greg Nettles, Lou Piniella, Roy White, and Dent. Those are like 9 Yankee institutions. They're all in the lineup. Catfish Hunter got the win. So, and Billy Martin almost lost his job with that lineup after he confronted Reggie Jackson in the dugout, but even Billy couldn't blow that one.
Yeah, it just shows you. I mean, it's September, 4 back, and you look. The Giants have the Dodgers 7 straight. You know, crazy things can happen here. Let's see what happens with that. You know.
Oh, it's going to be the Giants Dodgers is really going to be great. It'll be down there, but. And here, the home and home series, that's so much is going to be decided there. But, you know, I'll bet when it's over, it's still going to be in doubt because it's just that crazy.
Yeah. One last thing for you. Trey Turner finally is over 300, 305, and that's it for the National League.
That's the National League has 1 300 hitter. That's just unbelievable. There's only 5 in the American League, but I think that there's only 1. In the league, you know, that gave us Tony Gwynn and Pete Rose and, you know, Rogers Hornsby, Solly Hemus. It's weird. It's to hit even a Rise can't hit 300, which is shocking to me. But you know, Jacob Wilson and Bichette, Pena, Springer, good for those guys that they are over 300. But he could conceivably. You know, would wind up with only 1 guy in the whole bigs, the Judge.
Amazing. Yes, the hopes of Sal Frelick and Freddie Freeman to hit 300. That's what the National League is banking on. All right. Well, this is going to be a week. As I said to Mark Simon, we'll talk next Sunday. But these next 3 weeks, this is real September baseball because everybody's got trouble. And the Giants actually have the middle of an order now that can put some runs on the board. So it's going to be fun, Bruce.
Well, it really is. I mean, Arizona's coming in. They've won 8 out of 10. They're going pretty good. Gallen himself again. They lost Gurriel. That's bad, but they got an incredible catch by Blaze Alexander last night. Took a homer away from Bregman. And you know, they're dangerous. That's going to be good. The Giants would do well to kind of put some space between them and the Diamondbacks.
Boy, this is good. Well, that's why we play 162. It makes it different than any sport. Have a great Sunday. We'll talk next week. Absolutely.
Thank you, Marty. Talk then.
All right. Thanks, Bruce. That was a pleasure. All right, the professor next. Ron Wotus right here on the Sports Leader.
Talking baseball with Marty Lurie on KNBR 104.5 and 680, the Sports Leader.
Hello again, Marty Lurie here to talk about my good friends at Georgie Brothers, the largest family-owned furniture store in the entire Bay Area. Right now and good through October 27th. Now listen to this. You can save 10% on all qualifying stressless sofas, recliners, chair and ottoman sets, sectionals, as well as accessories in the stressless line. I love this line of furniture. Also, there's a $400 savings on all power recliners. How about that? This is absolutely one of the best stressless sales offered all year. You can literally save hundreds, even thousands of dollars. I own stressless furniture, and I can tell you, it's the most comfortable place to sit in my home. Visit them at GeorgieBrothers.com. That's GIORGIBROS.com. Or even better, stop by their 50,000 square foot showroom in South San Francisco.
Time now to go to Sunday school with the professor.
Hey, Professor, take it easy, will you?
Giants coach Ron Wotus with Marty Lurie.
I didn't know you wanted to get involved with the discussion, Mr. Helper.
On your home of Giants baseball.
Good answer. Like the way you think.
KNBR 104.5 and 680, the sports leader.
Brought to you by River Islands, one of the country's top-selling master plan communities just across the Altamont in Lathrop. Where else can you live on a lake next door to a park or walking distance to your kid's new school? With 10 new neighborhoods, River Islands is the one place you can't afford to miss.
All right, great to have you back with us. The professor joins us, Ron Wotus. Well, how are you?
Rabbi, I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Pretty good this morning, really. They're 5 back, including the tiebreaker, with 20 to go. And I say that with 20 to go, that's a lot of games, isn't it?
It is. I mean, look, you can look at it in a lot of different ways. People look at the schedules. They look at, who you're playing. You're looking at who's hot, who's not, the injuries. The bottom line is every day is a playoff game from here on out for the Giants.
Yeah.
That's really it. I mean, look, you do have a favorable schedule. You like that, but at the same time, you just never know what's going to happen. I think one of the biggest factors is playing teams, that are really struggling or really not playing well. I think that's one of the biggest advantages.
I always say when you play a team like the Cardinals, they're banged up and they have a very young team and they don't hit a lot, I'll tell you that, and there's no question. You want to step on them early. You want to get your runs and add on early, and I think that's something the Giants have got to do. And they've done it against some of the teams so far. They did it to the Orioles. They walloped them pretty good. But they've got to get, and Colorado too, you got to get their runs early.
That's a great way to play. Look, it takes the pressure off the pitcher. He doesn't have to be so fine. You think about the torture we've talked about Dwayne Kuiper instituted with the Giants, close games. You got to take your hat off to the pitching staffs when you're playing such close games because every pitch is so important. Little breathing room. It gives you an opportunity to be a little more aggressive. Hopefully the starters go deeper, et cetera, et cetera. But you're right. Through this stretch of good baseball, I mean, the biggest difference, obviously, has been the offense. And, look, they had the game last night. Unfortunately, that's going to happen on occasion. Something's going to happen in the game. When you're playing close games, it could be a blue pit. It could be almost anything that could cost you the game. So scoring runs early is always the best way to win a game.
A couple of little things for the professor here. This Victor Scott last night tries to steal third. It's first and second. They're down 2-0. They do have trouble scoring runs. They've got a pretty good hitter up at the plate. And then he's on second. He tries to steal third. Bailey throws him out. But my point was there was a left-handed hitter up. Bailey had a clear shot to third. Where's he going?
Yeah, I don't know the whole scenario because I was down in San Jose watching that club prepare for the playoffs. They're finishing up tomorrow. Well, actually, today is their last game. They start the playoffs on Tuesday. But, that's the thing about stealing bases. And, especially when you're not scoring runs, there's two sides, as you just kind of alluded to. Well, you got to try to create something. But there's no doubt that when there's a left-handed hitter up, it's an easier throw for the catcher. He's got a clear shot, as you say, than when there's a right-hander. That can be a big distraction for the catcher. There's so many other things that enter into it. I mean, the outs, obviously, how slow the pitcher is to the plate. And even if the pitcher's really slow to the plate, what kind of jump did the player get? That happens a lot to the managers and the coaching staffs. They put a guy on his own because he has speed and the pitcher's slow, and he doesn't get the good jump, and he still goes and he's out, and everybody's shaking their heads. So I wish I would have seen the play, but thank goodness we threw him out.
Yeah, and Scott, it's the little things, and I think that's my point here. Scott throws to third when he has no chance, allows Chapman to get to second, and then Gilbert hits the double to drive Chapman in, and that was the second run. So at this stage of the season, the little things will kill you if you don't do them right.
Yeah, I agree with that. Throughout the whole minor league system this year and being with the big club at all the home games, you look at how many close games you lose and people talk about the hitting. But, more than anything, this organization now has been focused on, situational hitting, getting the guy in from third with less than 2 outs. You don't need a hit. Getting the guy over from, second to third with nobody out. So you don't need a hit to score him. And it's the same thing in the minor leagues. And that's why I think we've talked on your show, Marty, for years now. I don't know, is it 15 years about fundamental baseball? Don't beat yourself. You want to give the team 27 outs, the opponent. You don't want to give them any more of that. And there's, all those different parts of the game, the pitching, the hitting, the defense, the base running. And you really do need to limit your mistakes and don't beat yourself, as we like to say, when you're playing baseball, because in close games and this time of year, it'll really stick in your craw if you beat yourself and you make mistakes.
How do you like the 7 games with the Dodgers and 6 with Arizona in September? How about that?
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. We talked a little bit about the schedule being favorable to the Giants, especially the last 6 at home. It's a little better today than it was years ago when the September call-ups would come up and you'd have 6 guys on the bench, right, Marty? There'd be 6 guys on the bench, and here I am as a bench coach, and you got, a pinch hitter for this guy, then he gets on first. There's a pinch runner, and there's so many moves, and you don't know these players that well, and you hate getting beat in September because there's so many moves. Today, the rosters are smaller, like there's only a couple additions, and it's easier to manage, so you have a better feel. But as you're saying, and we haven't played Arizona in a long time. It feels like we've never played the Dodgers, right? So 7 with them is going to be tough. But at the same time, they're not playing well. So, and I'd rather play the Dodgers, I think, just to the fact that, they're our rivals. If you can't get up and have energy for that game, you can't have energy for anything, right? So 7 with them. Arizona's going to be tough too. They have speed. You just never know in this game. So you got to take care of business with your own club and play the best game you can, and we'll see what happens.
Look, you've been around a long time. How'd you like the Devers-Freeland little dust-up earlier in the week?
Yeah, I liked. I can't remember the term you used for the little dust-up. What did you call it? Not a brouhaha. You called it something else, Marty. A rhubarb. I haven't heard that since the team was playing in Brooklyn, for crying out loud.
That's right.
That's
Red
good.
Barber. That's from Red Barber. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I tend to agree with most people that Freeland's a veteran pitcher, and he didn't like it that he stayed at home plate. I think, Devers didn't do anything that's not happening in the game today. He wasn't pumping his chest, flipping his bat, looking at the dugout and screaming or staring at the pitcher. He just watched it a little while. So I think Freeland was out of line. Look, he's a veteran pitcher, as I said. So, we've seen Bumgarner enforce the way the game is supposed to be played with Puig and other people. But, I think the bottom line is when you're on a team like the Rockies and you're losing 100 games, your patience are worn thin. You're already getting beat night after night, and little things like that could set you off. But I thought he was in the wrong for starting that whole thing. And I think the Giants got the short end of the stick after they ejected the whole left side of the infield and 2 of our best hitters. And Freeland was out of the game. The Giants weren't scared to face him. So we got the short end. I didn't think Adames should have been thrown out at all for his little slaps. He never threw a punch. Everybody's pushing and shoving in that pile. So I was disappointed in the decision to throw Adames out. Chapman, I understand because he pushed him, but I thought that was a little unfair.
Well, what do you do as a coach when something like this breaks out? Where are you going?
Me, right now, I'm going to the bathroom so I don't get hurt. Look, you just want to try to stop it and make sure nobody gets hurt. And we've had our share, and it can be tough. These guys are strong. They're amped up. You try to get in there and grab anybody that's looking to do damage and hold them back. I mean, obviously your first thought is the two guys that are getting into it, but usually other people get there first. There's a lot of pushing and shoving. I remember we had that brouhaha with the Phillies, and I'm out there when Morse ran into who do you run into with all the hair flying everywhere? Anyways, our two guys hit each other. Oh, was it the Shark? Anyways,
I think so.
Yeah. So we're out there, and everybody's, pushing and shoving and grabbing. And here comes Juan Samuel, an old teammate in winter ball that I have, and he's grabbing me like he wants to kill me. I never knew he didn't like me, but I thought we got along great. But I'm trying to fight off Juan Samuel, who's a tough son of a gun. I was just out there to break it up. So you got to be ready for anything. You just don't know what's going to happen, and you got to keep your head on a swivel. You don't want to take a sucker punch right to the jaw.
Funny. All right. Well, this is going to be quite a week of baseball, and I'm glad that we could talk about it. One last thing on San Jose. Anybody jumping out at you down there?
Well, the fun thing for me was to see a lot of the drafted players. This year's draft, we have a kid out of Rutgers. They're tapping into the New Jersey baseball players here. Went to Rutgers. Trevor Cohen, outfielder. He looks like a real good rounded player. He has a nice approach at the plate, nice arm, has speed. The other guy, obviously, Johnny Level, we talked about a little bit. He was down in Arizona. He was the player, one of the rated as like the top prospect in that league. Lorenzo Miola, a fourth-round pick, went to Stetson. He's another kid from New Jersey up there. Infielder, he's a short second baseman. He's shortstop and second baseman. He's played second base. He's got really good actions in the field. He has some strength. He has some speed. Again, a well-rounded player. And there's a bunch of pictures, but the one guy I'd highlight was Kenner Martinez, who was the pitcher of the year in the ACL, throwing 98. Latin kid, he's only 21 years old. So, the Giants keep pushing some nice-looking talent into the system, and I enjoyed watching those guys and getting to know them.
Oh, beautiful. A good time for River Islands. All the new neighborhoods, and there's a big town center coming around. So River Islands, we talk about the homes, but there's a lot going on around River Islands.
Yeah, there is. I mean, the whole area is built up, and one of our favorite things is, how convenient it is for homeowners just to go for a walk and be part of the community there. And this is the best time of year for me. We're going in September, October. You have the farmers markets, you have the trails. The weather's great for walking. I don't know how everybody else feels, but I certainly love the fall, and there's not a better place to enjoy it with all the water and things they have there at River Islands.
Yeah, new restaurants coming and all sorts of stuff. So it's not just homes. It's a lot of stuff going on. Well, all right, this is going to be some week of baseball, Arizona and the Dodgers. And every game, as you say, I like that, Will. I'm going to use it. Every game is a playoff game. Good one. Okay. We'll see what happens. All right, have a good
Marty.
day. I appreciate it. Talk to you next week. Thanks, Will.
Okay, look forward to it. Bye-bye.
All right. More coming up. Carrie Crowley joins us on our warm-up right after this.
Talking baseball with Marty Lurie on KNBR 104.5 and 680, the sports leader.
half of those in a Giants uniform as he swings and belts it deep out to right center. This one on its way. It is gone. It's another first inning home run for Rafi Devers.
Orange and Black family, the godfather of Giants baseball now continues. This is Talkin' Baseball with Marty Lurie on KNBR, the sports leader.
All right, a pleasure being with you on our Giants warm-up today, and that was our home run of the week, sponsored by Pacific Catch, the Bay's favorite seafood destination. Boy, a lot to choose from. Carrie Crowley joins us. Carrie, a pleasure having you. I'm glad to be part of your show today.
Oh, Marty, thanks so much, and what a read from you, knocking out the home run of the week, Pacific Catch, you know. I think I've got that memorized by now.
You know, it's funny. I said to Raph, I said, I'm going to just ask Harry to do the read, and Raph was afraid you wouldn't know it. So, all right, I'm glad you. All right, I'm glad that you memorize these things. If you want to do diamond notes for me, you can do that too.
Yeah, Who's Hot, sponsored by Valley Heating, Cooling, Electrical, and Solar, locally and family owned for 62 years, Marty.
It's so funny because when I used to do these, when I was at the public house on Saturday and Sunday, I would do all this stuff. I was saying it in my sleep. That's how many times you say this. It's true. It is true. Well, how do you feel about the ball club? They've got a middle of the order. They're hitting the ball. A little blip last night, but 4 back, really 5 with the tiebreaker with 20 to go.
Yeah, I think it's fascinating because under most circumstances, I would say, there's no chance, there's way too much ground to pick up over the final weeks of the regular season, but they're playing outstanding baseball. I mean, last night it was a gut punch to lose the way that they did, but at the same time, Marty, you and I have talked about this. The Mets are by no means running away with this thing. The Padres have collapsed over the last 2 weeks. I think you have to consider the entire playoff picture right now, and that's why the Giants, I think, still have this faint hope that they can compete. But more importantly than anything, they're playing meaningful baseball in the month of September. We're getting a good look at what this core will look like next season. Adames and Devers settling in together when Chapman plays and is healthy. He's really good. He lifts the team up both offensively and defensively. I think they're learning a lot about their future right now, which is really good, but also playing compelling and entertaining baseball. The fan base is engaged in the month of September, and I don't think I would have anticipated that would have happened way back when the trade deadline happened.
No, and they're playing good baseball. They're hitting the ball. Look, 18 games in a row with a home run. They've got a middle of the order, like you say. They're beating people, and the schedule. I'll tell you, the schedule's challenging. There's no question about it. But they're scoring runs, and it's taking the pressure off the pitching staff. So what does Bob Melvin do now in the closer situation? Because he's got to deal with this for the next 20 games.
Oh, gosh. I mean, this is like the million-dollar question right now. I mean, this is why it's so difficult to make the trades that you do and giving up Tyler Rogers and Camilo Doval. And, I think it's just got to be a matchup situation here on out moving forward. I don't know that Ryan Walker immediately loses the job, but I don't think you send him right back out there today if you've got a safe situation just because of the number of pitches that he threw and his ineffectiveness last night. So, I don't know. I mean, there's a number of different pitchers I think you could just throw into that role and see how they fare. One of the guys who's always intrigued me, and I know that, he doesn't have the high-level experience. He hasn't pitched a lot in the big leagues, but one day, if he's healthy enough and ready to bounce back from back-to-back days, I think Keaton Winn has the stuff of a high-leverage reliever. I think the fastball splitter combination is good enough. He hasn't been all that effective this season, but he has the stuff that could play there. I wouldn't be opposed to seeing Buto in that role. Matt Gage, if he's got a number of lefties coming up. I think you just got to play it by ear. It's not ideal, but nothing about the last 2 months before the Giants went on this hot streak was ideal, and somehow they're back in this thing.
Well, I'm glad to hear you say it because a month ago you did say I was crazy for saying that they're going to be in this thing.
You were crazy. So. Let's be clear. Let's be on the record. You were crazy. I was right then, but you're generally more right.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I saw this coming. How do you like my little guy Gilbert, the way he's playing?
Oh my goodness. I mean, Drew Gilbert has become just the most entertaining player on the team at the moment, and it's a team with Devers swinging the bat extremely well. Adames has been the best shortstop in baseball for the last month, and yet Drew Gilbert, here he comes from AAA Sacramento after the Mets deal, and he gets off to a terrible start. He's dropping F-bombs after every at-bat because he's striking out after every at-bat, and all of a sudden He's a guy that you want up there. He's a guy who you want to watch playing. You want to see what this guy does. When was the last time the Giants had a player come up from the minor leagues, Marty, and a month into his big league tenure, you're saying, I want to see more of this guy. I'm looking forward to his at-bats. I mean, it's been such a breath of fresh air for a team. I think, we both talk about this. Veterans lead you in the month of September. Veterans are the guys who understand what's at stake at this point in the season, but you still need a little bit of that rookie zeal, the energy, the electricity that he brings. I mean, I think we're both having a heck of a time watching him.
I'd say Pablo was the last guy who came up, and you wanted to watch him swing the bat even more than Posey or Belt or anybody else. I'll go with Pablo. You know something? Again, I'll give you one of my crazy thoughts. I'd lead off with Lee. I'd put Gilbert second against right-handers, and Devers third, and let Devers drive in some big runs. How about that?
I think I'll call you crazy for that. I think I'd go Gilbert.
Thank you.
Maybe in the 5 or the 6 slot if you're trying to move him up in the order. I don't know about the 2 slot. I like the idea of Devers and Adames hitting back-to-back closer to the top of the order. I like Devers in the number 2 slot. I just think you want to maximize his at-bats and opportunities. But, for all the crazy ideas we've had to throw out this season, Marty, when the Giants were scoring 2 runs a game, when the Giants were losing every game at home, it's nice to be able to have a conversation where we're talking about things that aren't that off the wall, aren't that crazy. You want to see all of these guys get opportunities atop the order right now. It just feels a little different watching this team these days.
Well, they're scoring runs, and the home run streak ended, but they're scoring runs. They're getting decent pitching. They're still right up there in earned run average and all that kind of stuff. All right, let me throw this last one at you. You're in the stands. You catch a foul ball. It's the first one you've caught after watching 1,000 games. Do you give it to a kid?
Always. If you're over the age of 16, it's got to go to someone younger than you, right?
Nah, maybe.
I'm picturing you in the stands right now with your glove, catching a ball and keeping it. I don't think you'd hear the end of it.
Look, if I went to 1,000 games and I finally caught a ball, do I have to give it to a kid? Come on.
You do.
Really?
You do. Come on. A foul ball, a home run's different. A foul ball, they're meaningless.
All right. Well, the hat, I would give him the hat from the tennis open. That's no problem. That's
there
good.
You go.
All right. Well, this is quite a week coming up. Arizona and the Dodgers. This is pretty good.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And the Dodgers are just miserable right now. They can't beat the Orioles. Yamamoto last night, the no-hitter broken up, and they lose in walk-off fashion for the second straight game. I mean, talk about catching them at the right time. The Giants might have the opportunity to do that.
Yeah, you don't want to say, as Bill Terry said in 1934, which you remember, are the Dodgers still in the league? You don't want to say that. You don't want to say that because the Dodgers knocked the Giants out that famous year that you love. All right.
Yeah, I remember
talking.
1934. Good year for baseball.
All right. Fun talking with you. Love you. Have a good day, and best to the family.
All right. You're the best, Marty. Have a good one.
All right. Our Giants pregame coming up right now on the Sports Leader.